Hi, friends. Welcome to Cricket Caviar. So it's a cloudy day in Christchurch. Australia opts to bowl first and challenges New Zealand because there's a little bit of green in the pitch. There's some clouds. And then I'm really surprised because these two shitwads, they play an excellent first hour. They are wicketless. They are 49 for no loss in 19 overs. And New Zealand has finally the perfect start they were looking for. And then
Mhm.
comes Hazelwood. He breaches apart New Zealand. He takes a astonishing fifer, a spectacular ball where he's shown all his variations, all his controls, superb line and length. And for everyone's surprise, New Zealand gets all out in the next 25 overs. It is a remarkable bowling performance. New Zealand all out for 162 on day one. And then we see Australia also have some challenges with the bat. Smith Steve departs early. Khwaja departs early. Then, but they somehow are in a okay state. They're like 110 for 4 at the end of day one. And then day two, again, Labuschagne carries on. He actually surprises us all. He battles this one out and he makes a fantastic 90, followed by some cameos in the end, takes Australia to 250, and they have a 80 runs odd lead. And then New Zealand in the second innings are very much in the game, I would say. They have lost the stalwart Kane Williamson, but they are 134 for 2 at stumps day two. Guys, where do you see this test match is lined up at, and what do you expect on day three?
Yeah, Pratik. So Christchurch is a venue where New Zealand are traditionally very good, and Kane Williamson's favorite venue in terms of the centuries he has scored, and even we saw him pulling off a win versus Sri Lanka. So I was really expecting some big things from Kane Williamson, but the problem is the stat of Kane Williamson versus India, England, and Australia. He averages 37, whereas against other countries apart from India, England, and Australia, he averages 69. And
Unbelievable.
that gulf is costing New Zealand now because they are very, very much dependent on Kane Williamson. And today also, I felt New Zealand, when they were in a commanding position, the wicket of Kane Williamson, Pat Cummins getting him out, it was almost like a leader getting a leader of the opposition. So that kind of thing
Yeah.
really could derail New Zealand because we saw in the last test also that New Zealand were chasing very well in the fourth innings. Unless Kane Williamson, when he got out, I felt the chase could not be done. So yeah, coming to yesterday, definitely a big disappointed waking up seeing New Zealand again struggling to even, it was thanks to Saudi and tailenders scoring few runs that they got to 162. Otherwise,
But
it could
yeah.
have been it could have been much worse. And again, when they start today at 124 for 4, they immediately drop a chance of Nathan Lyon, and that could have set them to a collapse. But instead, Australia actually score one from 166 for 6 to they get to 90 runs more, thanks to Labuschagne and the other tailenders, Pat
The small
Cummins.
contributions, like yeah, even Stark, he was hitting the ball so confidently, and they're somehow able to add those runs
Yeah,
so cleverly.
that lead is a big lead in New Zealand conditions. Like 94 runs lead is a big lead, and uh, but yeah, credit to New Zealand. It was their day today, even
Yeah.
though yeah, they batted well. After that, Latham batted well, but again, Pat Cummins just showing his class because what he has done to Babar, what he has done to Pujara, he did the same thing to Williams and going through the gate and getting that crucial wicket of opposition's main player. And again, 40 for 2 now effectively New Zealand. um yeah, so let's see. I
I
hope.
would have to say, like, yeah, Cummins is spectacular. As most of us, we were juggling between New Zealand, Australia, and India, England Test match today. So I was watching it with my dad, and we were just talking about James Anderson, like how he's bowling, fast bowling at the age of 41, and we were thinking who else has done it in the past, right? And then I was immediately we're thinking like maybe Cummins is the guy who can do
Yeah.
it. We can't remember a name in the past, but maybe Cummins is that kind of a guy who can do this. Like he's just magic. And I would say Rachin Ravindra is actually kind of lucky to survive his last spell. Like he was not looking comfortable when Cummins came, especially over the wicket to him. He was there was also a strong shout on the leg stump for LBW, but Rachin somehow survives. And Rachin, I think, has to play positively tomorrow. He's one guy who, when starts timing the ball, he is so beautiful to watch. And I don't think that complete defensive approach suits him, just like we have seen in the play of Shubman Gill. So I'm hoping without Williamson also, New Zealand post like a decent score, maybe 400 ideal, so that they can get like 250, 280 ahead.
Actually, the strength of Australian bowling is they don't let you score easily. Even if they are not picking wickets, like we saw that partnership of Latham and Williamson, they could just score some around 2.5 runs per over. And the problem is uh, New Zealand are not moving the game ahead. And ultimately, when the collapse happens, and we have seen at least New Zealand now 3 out of 4 times they have collapsed very, very badly. And I did not expect this from New Zealand batting, and it just shocks me. Actually, I expected more of that from Australian batting, but I've seen more of New Zealand collapses than I've seen Australian collapses. And the problem now is if there is a collapse, they will not be able to add more runs until Rachin Ravindra or Glenn Phillips plays a counter-attacking knock. So lot depends on these two and Daryl Mitchell also. So these three players are uh, very crucial tomorrow.
Yeah, Darren Mitchell is due for a big knock. So, he likes to perform against big
Yeah.
teams. He was the one who scored 2 centuries against India in the World Cup. So this is the perfect time, Daryl Mitchell, if you can hear us, score something
Yeah.
against Aussies. Show them your mettle. Like,
Even
this is the
yeah, I would like to add one point कि Australia was playing so मतलब Laos not playing so well मतलब considering his recent form, but the catch which Phillips took today
Yeah.
was
Oh,
really
good
that changed
point.
the
Good
match.
point.
That changed the match, I think, in the
That
favor of Australia.
that changed the match, and it could have been much worse. Like I was expecting 150 runs lead actually today
Yeah.
when Labuschagne was playing, but uh, luckily that was a great catch by Glenn Phillips, and he's been doing miracles actually for New Zealand in this Test series. He's the only one who's looking up for the challenge. And Matt Henry, we have to talk about Matt Henry because
Oh,
it's not
right.
it's
Matt
not
Henry.
often that 7 wickets is picked against Australia by a pacer, and he's a gem. I mean, he's a future New Zealand legend. He's been around for a long time, but he's often been ignored because of the depth of New Zealand bowling, especially Kyle Jamieson and Trent Bolt. Uh, were always
Actually, he has been around for 6 to 8 years, but he's mostly not picked in the 11. So you're absolutely right. We're only we're seeing such performances from him because he's playing regularly now.
yeah,
Absolutely fantastic.
yeah. And even if you see his spell in the World Cup semi-final in 2019 and World Cup final, he's been excellent. So yeah, so even in the fourth innings, he will be a big factor. And of course, I'm also expecting Nathan Lyon to do some magic tomorrow because he will be the main bowler. Uh, of course, Hazelwood has already done his part. He was fantastic with that channel line and length bowling, which New Zealand just could not understand what to do with that kind of precise line and length bowling on a pitch that had
And
something.
some team movement for him, like he becomes lethal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So
exactly like that spell of 36 all out he bowled in Adelaide. It was, but he didn't have a pink ball here. He had a red ball, but it was exactly like that kind of spell.
yeah.
So
And I
So
think if
actually, if you like you said initially, today was New Zealand's day. I agree, but just knowing the history and the mental toughness of Australia, I think we all personally feel Australia is a little bit ahead in this match, right, guys?
yeah, but I think still if New Zealand want to stay in the competition, then we need something special from Rachin or Mitchell. I think they can only
yeah,
save
Yeah.
New Zealand now. These two
and,
guys
and
can need a
yeah, and I was saying that when you have to win against Australia, you can't just win one day or 2 sessions. Is never going to be enough. You have to, even if you give them an inch, they will pull the entire hand. So you have to, fully bury them with 3 or 4
Yeah.
very good sessions. Otherwise, there is always a chance that someone can pull off a spectacular performance. Steve Smith is due. Labuschagne already contributed. Now he's back in form. He'll be more confident. Khwaja has not contributed. He will be also looking for a challenge.
But he's the leader run scorer for last two World Test Championship finals, so Khwaja can never be
Yeah,
taken lightly. So, but
and
yeah,
of
absolutely fantastic point, man. That's what I was telling Vishnu, who was like, if New Zealand scores 200, will that be enough? I'm like, no way, man. For Australia, you have to go bigger than
300.
that.
Minimum
And
300.
one more thing I'm hoping is that the match doesn't get over tomorrow, because if it's getting over tomorrow, that means New Zealand are not posting enough runs. So I want
yeah,
this match to go to day 4. I want New Zealand to bat big tomorrow.
yeah. Thanks, Pratik and Kunal, for joining for this test review of Christchurch Test.
Nitin.
And Nitin, sorry. And yeah, so we'll discuss more tomorrow, I guess, when the test match will be near to its conclusion. So I'm thinking it can be ending tomorrow also. So we'll discuss then. Thank you for watching us, and please subscribe our channel for more cricket content. Thank you for watching. Bye. Take care.